These are equative clauses. You understand? Ana Mohandas min Abu Dhabi. I engineer from Abu Dhabi. Sadiqi Tam Americani min California. Hua min Arizona. My friend Tom, American from California. He from Arizona. These equative clauses that you're talking about is a linguistic retention of Africa. But if you are a European Zionist or U.S. imperialist, you will see this as a deleted curricula, and this is from the Eurocentric pathology model.
Let me hear from Dr. Shee, and then we'll hear from Dr. Wilson.
I just have one question with regard to, for example, the pattern that you were just describing. As I see it, it's possible to interpret this result in two ways. Mm-hmm. One is that it is retention of some linguistic patterns in other languages, the native language that the person is speaking. Mm-hmm. But there's been a lot of discussion lately that often what happens when you learn a second language is you use different simplification types of strategies and things like that. Perhaps that it might not be related to the language itself, but it's kind of a universal phenomenon that you can find in many cases. For example, when people learn English, they often leave out the copula, even if they do have a copula in their native language. In other words, that there are some universal things that seem to be happening in second language learning sometimes.
That's kind of like the same thing that I was going to say. I was going to ask you, in reading into this literature on Black English, as they call it, the term pidgin is used to express the kind of thing that she just asked you about. And I wondered whether you would accept a term like pidgin.
The pigeon theory is just the old stew reheated. Let me go back first to her question concerning whether or not it's just a simplification. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can say it's simplification, and you can also say it's complexification. Mm-hmm. I submit to you that complexification could just as equally apply to what happens. When a person is ignorant of any aspect of a target language, they're not simplifying anything. They are attempting to learn that language, and when you are a native speaker of one language, you have a grammar that is internalized as your mother tongue, then the interference will tend to occur wherever that language is structurally different from your own. I first dealt with the phonetic differences. We find evidence of the Germans when they are attempting to speak in English pronunciations. If there is no voice, a voice that's interdental, the TH sound in the German language, you will find an approximation. This also occurs for the French. Instead of this, that, these, and those, you get this, that, these, and those. The apico-alveolar trill, the R sound, is the retroflex velar spirant in English. R, R, R. In the Afro-Asiatic, in Spanish, and in many languages throughout the world, including Japanese, that sound is apico-alveolar trill. The labiovelar glide, represented by the grapheme W. Whoa, 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 whoa. That sound is not distributed in German or Romanian and East European languages. So if I were a German physicist here talking about the molecular structure of the wall, it is very likely that because the phonetic structure of German is different from English, you would get the molecular structure of the wall. Now, nobody has a problem when a crowd says the molecular structure of the wall for the molecular structure of the wall. But if a descendant from the African Hamato-Bantu Niger-Congo languages says, "Lick structure the wall," lick structure the wall. Lick structure the wall is going to be the lick structure the wall every time I say the lick structure the wall, because that's the way Henrietta Smith, my mama, said it. That's the way Liza O'Neill, my grandma, said it. That's the way Johnny Smith, my daddy, said it. That's the way Big Annie, Little Annie, wall-to-wall black people where I've been living say, "Well, lick structure the wall." I have no control over the environment in which I'm born, and the black man in the United States is the most hated and disrespected and despised non-European group in this country. I have never seen a busload of Asians have a bomb thrown at a busload of their babies integrating into white neighborhoods. I've never seen a busload of Native Americans have a bomb thrown at it integrating into white neighborhoods. I've never seen a busload of Mexicans having fire bombs thrown at them entering into white neighborhoods. But if you enter into a busload of black children into a white neighborhood, these rednecks will throw bombs at little innocent children because they hate black people with a passion.
I wanted to... Okay. Right. Go ahead.
Question about the substitution of the word Ebonics for Black English. You described a situation where Black English is a low-status language, and of course the speakers of the low-status language are also low status, according to your description. Do you think that by simply substituting Ebonics for Black English, you're going to change the opinion of anyone in this country with respect to blacks or Black English?
When you have a linguistic diglossia, it does not mean that in fact the language is inferior or...
I didn't say inferior. I didn't say inferior.
You're saying that there's a social attitude and an economy or a premium placed on a particular language.
Right.
My question is not whether or not Ebonics is a low-status language. It is whether or not Europeans are going to give up the millions of dollars that they've been given to Persians, Asians, Indians, and Mexicans to assist slave descendants of African origin in learning the language which is necessary for post-secondary or even elementary and secondary educational success. The question is not whether or not it is valuable or prestigious. The question is that you as Europeans have a responsibility to teach the English language to black people as a second language. Yet for the past 10 years, billions of dollars has been ripped off and raked off to non-black limited English speakers under the rubric of bilingual and bicultural education, but the slave descendants of African origin have been left wallowing in filth and stench in ghettos.
Right, but the point is, why do you want to change the name Black English to Ebonics?
Because it's not English, I'm not English, my mama ain't English, my dad ain't English, my grandma and great-grandma ain't English.
Okay.
It is not English. It's an African language with English vocabulary.
The next part of the question is, in the context of United States culture, do you think the attitude that people have toward what we used to call Black English will change with a name change to Ebonics?
I don't care if they don't change the name. You're saying that the label Ebonics recognizes, first of all, that it is not English. I am not going to call something that it isn't. If it is English, show me that it is English by showing me that it has English grammar. If it is not English grammar, call it what it is, black sound.
No, the point is that Black English has taken on symbolic value. And when you substitute Ebonics, Ebonics is going to take on symbolic value. And the behaviors associated with the whole symbol complex of the language in association with the culture, in educational patterns and so on, is simply, I'm going to argue with you that those patterns will continue unless you educate whites that Black English isn't English at all.
I recognize the term Black English if you